तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति। क्या हुआ? थोड़ा वॉल्यूम पूरा। That person is not there. तो ठीक है जी, इतना तो काफी है. Is it all right? Is the mic all right? हाँ ठीक है. ओम श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः. So Brahma Jignasa. In this particular sutra, so we just started, Atha Shabda, the word Atha. Atha, Ataha, Brahma Jignasa. These are the three words. Now we have to find out the meaning of the word Atha. Now here, generally, Atha Shabda is used in four meanings, generally used in four meanings, but here, Bhagavan Bhashyakara eliminates one after another. What is not the meaning, what is not the right meaning, and what is the right meaning. So one of the meanings of the word Atha is Adhikarartha. Adhikarartha means the Arambhartha. Like when we say Adhikara means should be understood like this. Atha Yoga Anushasanam, suppose. Atha Yoga Anushasanam. And now begins. Atha means now begins. Yoga Anushasanam, the teaching about yoga. Now begins. That is called now begins. Now, what begins becomes the pradhana vishaya, becomes the topic, adhikrita vishaya. That becomes the adhikrita vishaya. Now begins the yoga anushasanam, means yoga becomes the topic. Yam adhikritya, well, kinchid uchyate. जिसके बारे में कुछ कहा जाता है, जिसके बारे में कुछ कहा जाता है, जो विषय है, that when it begins, in the sense of beginning, a new topic. In the sense of beginning, a new topic. That is called adhikara, meaning arambha. Atha yoga anushasana means now begins yoga anushasana. Then yoga becomes the central topic of that book. Similarly here, if we say, Atha Brahma Jignasa, Ataha we take out, Atha Brahma Jignasa. If you take the meaning of Adhikara, if we take the meaning of Adhikara, meaning Arambha, then the meaning would be, now begins the desire for knowledge. And now begins the desire for knowledge of Brahman. If this is the meaning, then the desire for knowledge of Brahma becomes the central topic. Now begins the desire for Brahma Jnanam when we say, then the topic will be what? Then the topic will be desire. The topic will be desire. Then if the topic is desire, then throughout Brahma Sutras you should be talking about what? Desire. That is not acceptable. You don't go on talking about the desire. Therefore, the desire is not the topic here. Like Atha Yoga Anushasanam, yoga is the topic. Atha Brahma Jignasa, then Brahma Jignasa, the desire to know Brahman would be the topic. If the desire to know Brahman is not the topic, then Atha Shabda cannot be in the meaning of Adhikara. It is not in the sense of Adhikara. Adhikara means to begin something as the topic. That's why here it says, Tatra Atha Shabdaha, the word Atha, Anantaryartha. It says it is in the sense of thereafter. Anantara. Anantara means immediately after, thereafter. Anantara, its very abstract noun form is Anantarya. Anantarya means thereafter. Artha, it has its artha as Anantaryam, thereafter. Parigrihyate is accepted, is taken. Grihyate, parigrihyate. We hear the meaning, the atha is accepted to mean only thereafter. Parigrihyate. And he also says, na adhikarartha, na adhikarartha parigrihyate. Arambhartha is not accepted. Na adhikarartha, not the meaning of now begins. Why adhikarartha is not accepted? Why? Brahma jignasayaha anadhikaryatvat. He gives the reason. Brahma jignasa, the desire, ichcha. It should be taken as ichcha, the desire. Because when we use the san pratyaya, the pradhana is the desire. In san pratyaya, the pradhanam is desire. Like pipasa, patum ichcha pipasa. I have a desire for drinking. Here in this pradhanam is that desire. I want to drink, that want. Jnatum ichcha jignasa, that desire becomes the pradhanam, becomes the topic. Now the desire, Brahma jignasayaha, the desire to know Brahman, anadhikaryatvat, is not something that can be the topic, that can be begun as the topic. Desire can't be introduced in a book as the topic. A desire can't be introduced as a topic. Being introduced as the topic is called adhikarartha. Being begun as a topic, atha yoga anushasanam, like that. Now in day-to-day life also even we use this prayoga. So since morning you had one class, from 8 to 9 you had one class, then after 9 o'clock you say, now begins Sanskrit class, suppose. Now begins Sanskrit class. There, what is the topic? Sanskrit becomes the topic throughout. That can be begun all right. Sanskrit can be begun, वहाँ पर तो ठीक है. यहाँ पर the desire to know Brahman cannot be begun in a book by an acharya as the topic, as adhikarana. It can't be adhikarana vishayam. Desire cannot be the topic of that particular book. That's why Bhashyakara says, Brahma jignasayaha anadhikaryatvat. Adhikarya means what? It can be begun. Anadhikarya means can't be begun. Anadhikaryatvat means because it can't be begun. The desire to know Brahman cannot be introduced, cannot be begun as the topic. That as the topic underlined. That's very important. Adhikara means to begin as a topic. Now, if the desire is actually what is begun here, then throughout Brahma Sutras, what should be the topic? Desire should be the topic. But throughout Brahma Sutras, the topic is not the desire to know Brahman. Throughout Brahma Sutras, the topic is Brahman. The nature of Brahman. And therefore, here in the first line, Bhashyakara dismisses that atha does not mean, is not in the sense of adhikara. Why? Brahma jignasayaha anadhikaryatvat. Clear. Now, if you take the word atha to mean adhikara, then the meaning will be what? Therefore begins the topic of the desire to know Brahman. How does it sound? Does it sound meaningful? Therefore begins that topic of desire to know Brahman. The desire to know Brahman is not the topic. So understand that. Then certain nuances we will see after completing the meaning. Another meaning, atha also can mean mangalam. Maybe we can take the word atha to mean mangalam. Mangalam means shubham. अच्छा है, हिंदी में अच्छा है. So what is the sutra? अच्छा है, इसलिए they desire. Therefore, अच्छा है, इसलिए ब्रह्म जिज्ञासा. What is this अन्वय? समन्वय नहीं आता, अन्वय नहीं आता है. अच्छा है इसलिए ब्रह्म जिज्ञासा. Therefore, if you take the meaning of the word, if you take the atha to mean mangalam, you don't get the anvaya, meaning a meaningful meaning. मंगलस्य च वाक्यार्थे, वाक्यार्थ में मंगल शब्द का समन्वय अभावात, it doesn't fit into the syntax of the statement. Mangal Shabda doesn't fit into the syntax of the Vakya, of the sentence. Mangalam, Mangalasya cha Vakyarthe samanvaya bhavat. Therefore, Adha Shabda also does not mean, it doesn't mean Mangalam. अर्थांतर प्रयुक्तः एव हि अथ शब्दः, endowed with a different meaning other than mangalam. अर्थांतर प्रयुक्तः एव हि अथ शब्दः. Atha can mean something other than mangalam, and yet shutya, the very sound of it. Shutya means by the very sound of the word atha. Mangala prayojano bhavati. It does the job of Mangalam. The sound of the word Atha can serve the purpose of Mangalam. Mangalam need not be the meaning of the word Atha. The very sound of the word Atha, when we say like Om, the very sound of the word Atha can serve the purpose of Mangalam. We don't have to use the whole Atha Shabda to mean Mangalam. Therefore, Atha does not also mean Mangalam. Because when you begin something, if something auspicious, something has to be said. Mangal Shabda आना चाहिए, कुछ तो prayer होना चाहिए. But here, what is the prayer? They say the very sound of the word Atha is a prayer. Now, if the sound of the word Atha is Mangalam, then we have to find out the meaning of it, something else. Therefore, he says, Arthantara prayuktaha evahi Atha shabdaha Shuttya Mangala Prayojano Bhavati. The second option is out. Atha does not mean Adhikararthaha. Atha does not mean Adhikara. Atha does not mean Mangalam. Now, the third option says, the Purvapakshi, Mimamsaka says, Purva Prakrita Apekshayascha Phalataha Anantarya Avyatirekat. The Purvamsaka thinks that Atha means after this. Meaning in the sense of krama, in the sense of thereafter. But all that he means is, Atha here means, according to the Mimamsaka, he means like this, after Dharma Mimamsa. Mimamsaka says, Atha means after Dharma Mimamsa. That is called Purva. Pahale. You have to do first Dharma Mimamsa. After completing Dharma Mimamsa, now what you begin now can be begun with the word Atha, meaning after. After that, in sequence of Dharma Mimamsa. Purva Prakrita Apeksha. In sequence of something. In sequence of something. Mimamsaka says, in sequence of Dharma Mimamsa. That is the meaning of the word Atha. In sequence of Dharma Mimamsa begins Brahma Jignasa. Now Bhashyakara says, in that case also it means thereafter. You are only saying after Dharma Mimamsa. But I am not going to accept that Brahma Jignasa has to be done after Dharma Jignasa, Dharma Mimamsa. After what we will find out, but Atha means thereafter. Bas. Is it after Dharma Mimamsa or is it after something else? We will find out. But it means what? Thereafter. So if you take the stand after Dharma Mimamsa, then also Atha Shabda means thereafter. If I take the stand that after something else, then also it means thereafter. Thereafter is common to both you and me. And now we will find out exactly what is tenable. What is the tenable meaning of thereafter, after what? It simply means thereafter. But after what? We have to find out. So here, Purva Prakrita Apekshayascha Phalataha in actuality, Phalata means the result. The result is, even if you say after Dharma Mimamsa begins Brahma Jignasa, the result is that you also accept the meaning of the word Atha as thereafter. Phalataha Anantarya Vyatirekat. It is not different from thereafter. Anantarya Vyatirekat. It's not, in result, it is the same. You mean you may say after Dharma Mimamsa, I say after something else, that I will tell, but anyway in both cases the meaning of the word Atha is thereafter. Phalataha Anantarya Avyatireka. In essence really the result is that your sense also is not different from thereafter, Anantarya. So that means the Atha Shabda means thereafter. It doesn't mean Adhikara. It is not Adhikararthaha. It is not Mangalarthaha. It is only Anantaryarthaha. Mangalartha is served by the very sound of it. It is said, Omkarashchatha Shabdascha Dvavimau Brahmanah Pura Kantham Hitva Viniryatau Tasmat Mangalika Ubhau. ऐसा गाते हैं, Omkarascha, Om, Atha Shabdascha, and the word Atha, Dvau, Dvau ये दोनों, Imau ये दोनों, पूरा पहले सृष्टि के पहले at the time of सृष्टि, पूरा ब्रह्मणः ब्रह्मा जी का कंठम कंठ को हित्वा meaning broken out of his throat, kantham hitva viniryatau, they came out. Tasmat, therefore, mangalikau ubhau, ye dono are auspicious. The very sound of Om and the very sound of Atha mean auspicious, well, because God uttered Om and created, or God uttered Atha and created. Therefore, well, Om and Atha, the very sound of it is Mangalam. Therefore, the meaning of it need not be Mangalam. Therefore, we can always say Om. You can say Om and say Om means think of Bhagavan, because Omkara is Abhidhanam. That becomes a prayer. Even the sound of it is Mangalam. Okay. स्वामी जी ये सब समझ में आ गए, अब आगे सती च आनंतर्य अर्थत्वे, सती सप्तमी. If Atha means thereafter, Anantaryarthatve sati. If the Atha Shabda is decided to mean, if the Atha Shabda has been determined to mean thereafter, then the next job that we have is that we have to find out really after what. Aticha anantaryarthatve, up to that it means what? If the meaning of the word Atha has been determined, meaning when we have already determined the meaning of the word Atha as thereafter, then Yatha, just as dharma jignasa. Dharma jignasa, the analysis of dharma, purva vrittam, what is done before the analysis, prior to it. Veda Adhyayanam, the study of Veda, niyamena, choicelessly, apekshate, requires. So the analysis of the dharma choicelessly presupposes the study of Veda. The analysis of the karma, dharma means karma, the analysis of the rituals, the analysis, mimamsa, the analysis of the rituals definitely presupposes the study of the rituals. I must first study, then alone I can go into the analysis. I can't analyze a thing unless I have studied it. To analyze a book, I have to first study it. That is called Adhyayana. Adhyayana means what? I have to go through it. I have to memorize it. I must be introduced to the words and sentences. That is called Adhyayana. Recitation means I must know what is there in Veda. I must know what is written in Veda. Then I can go into analysis. That analysis is what is called mimamsa. So dharma mimamsa choicelessly presupposes the Veda Adhyayanam. So just as the dharma mimamsa presupposes the Veda Adhyayanam, yatha dharma mimamsa purvavrittam Vedadhyayanam niyamena apekshate, how it requires choicelessly Vedadhyayanam. Evam, in the same manner, Brahma Jignasa api, even the analysis of what is the nature of Atma, the analysis, Dharma Jignasa, Dharma Jignasa should mean here actually Dharma, Brahma Jignasa means Brahma Mimamsa. Brahma Mimamsa. So this Brahma Mimamsa should be taken as Brahma Mimamsa with a desire to know Brahma. Now this Brahma Mimamsa also, the analysis of our nature also presupposes something. Like Dharma Mimamsa presupposes Vedadhyayanam, Brahma Mimamsa also presupposes something, and that something is what? That is said here, Brahma Jignasa api yat purva vrittam, its precondition, niyamena apekshate, yat purva vrittam, which precondition, niyamena apekshate, choicelessly requires, tad vaktavyam, usko batana chahiye. What is it? Like Dharma Jignasa presupposes the Vedadhyayanam, in that manner Brahma Jignasa also presupposes something, and what is that something? Yat purvavrittam, what is that something that it presupposes? Tat vaktavyam. Yat purvavrittam, tat vaktavyam. इसको बताना चाहिए. Yat purvavrittam tat vaktavyam. That precondition, that purvavritta means precondition, has to be said. And that precondition is what? Niyamena apekshate, choicelessly requiring. You cannot do Dharma Mimamsa without Vedadhyayanam. Similarly, there is something without which you can't do Brahma Mimamsa. What is that precondition without which you can't do Brahma Jignasa? Brahma Mimamsa can't be done. Therefore, yatha dharma jignasa purvavrittam vedadhyayanam niyamena apekshate evam brahma jignasa api yat purvavrittam. niyamena apekshate tat vaktavyam. Vaktavyam means should be said. Supposing one said like this, Swadhyaya anantaryam tu samanam. Supposing we said like this, just as the Dharma Mimamsa presupposes the Vedadhyanam, in the same manner Brahma Mimamsa also presupposes Vedadhyanam. So after the study of the Veda, you begin Brahma Mimamsa. Just as after the study of the Vedadhyanam, you go into the rituals, analysis of it. In that manner, after the study of the Veda, you begin Brahma Mimamsa. Why can't we take this Swadhyaya? He says, that can't be the specific meaning. That is something common. That is Samanyam. That is said, Swadhyaya Anantaryam tu. Introduction to the words of Veda, meaning Vedanta. Just as after studying the Veda, you go for Dharma Mimamsa, after studying the Vedanta, meaning after getting introduced to the words and sentences of Vedanta, Vedanta recitation you have learned, you have gone through the verses of Vedanta. You have gone through the you have gone through the words and sentences of the Upanishads. After being introduced to the literature, the words and sentences of Vedanta, you can begin Brahma Jignasa. Why can't we take this meaning? No, that is not the precondition. That is understood precondition, that is not the enjoined precondition. That is understood because there is no question of beginning Brahma Jignasa without knowing that there is something called Vedanta, unless you have gone into the verses, you have gone into the literature of Vedanta, this very desire for Brahma Jignasa will not come. You don't even know that there is a topic called Brahman. Therefore, this is the common meaning. That is Vedadhyanam, Karmakanda Adhyanam means Vedadhyanam, Vedanta Adhyanam also means Vedadhyanam. Therefore, Vedadhyanam is common to Brahma Mimamsa, Dharma Mimamsa as well as Brahma Mimamsa. That is okay. Therefore, when it comes to Brahma Mimamsa, Vedadhyanam is not the tool, is not the Visishta Karanam, is not the specified, specific, choiceless precondition. Choiceless precondition. Choiceless precondition is that with which you can do Brahma Mimamsa, without which you can't. That is what is called Visishta. Visishta means choiceless. When it comes to Vedadhyanam, that is not Visishta, but it is Samanyam. So Bhashyakara says, don't say, after the study of Vedanta, I begin Brahma Mimamsa. Therefore, Swadhyaya Anantaryam tu. After Swadhyaya, to say that is what? Samanya. Doing Brahma Mimamsa after Swadhyaya is a Samanya Nimitta, meaning that is understood. That is not what is implied here. Na to hai, wo to hai, that is what is called Samanya. Wo to hai. Then there is something else which needs to be unfolded, without which you can't do Brahma Mimamsa. Therefore, Swadhyaya Anantaryam tu Samanam. Therefore, Atha Shabda means thereafter. Now we have to find out after what. And in finding out after what, we are eliminating one after another. One is, it is not Vedadhyanam. Why? Because that is samanya reason. That is samanyam. That is a samanya precondition. That is a general precondition. That is an understood precondition. That is a common precondition for both dharma mimamsa and brahma mimamsa. That is a samanya precondition. But here, atha shabda means that is understood precondition to imply which, to say which, you don't have to utilize the whole word atha. Without being said, it is implied. If it is implied without being said, then why do you have to say it? Are you able to follow? We keep irritating people because we keep saying which are understood without saying. Tabhi supposing, if the other person doesn't understand unless I say it, he feels blessed that I didn't know, he told me. Supposing he already knows, a person, you understand, in the ghar mein to yahi karte hain. Do you know how we irritate people? That is why the children also say, patta hai. When you say something, what do they say? Patta hai. At Punjabi way you have to say. How do you say in Punjabi patta? Patta hai, nahi. Patta hai. Main patta hai. Patta hai. Similarly, what is understood without being said is that you can't do Brahma Mimamsa without Vedathenam, that is understood. But Atha Shabda is used here to convey something which is not known. Now, Nanu, a question rises. Nanu, leke. Here, Brahma avabodhananantaryam viseshaha. Purvapakshi says, Mimamsaka says, Karma avabodha anantaryam. Here, it can mean like this. Karma avabodha means after understanding all the rituals. Karma means Vaidika karma. Avabodha means understanding. After understanding the know-how of all the rituals, then you go to know Brahman. After studying and knowing karma, karma ke baare mein pura jankar, the know-how, karma ke baare mein means not after knowing the limitation of the karma etc. The know-how of all the rituals, after knowing the know-how of all the rituals, one can begin Brahma Mimamsa. Therefore, here, Atha means thereafter means after knowing the know-how of all the rituals. Karma avabodha anantaryam visesha. This is the visishta. Thereafter, nimitta. So the Purvapakshi says, if Vedathenam is samanya nimitta, samanya karanam, samanya nimitta, samanya purvavritta, samanya general precondition, then understanding the rituals becomes the specific precondition. If the study of the Veda is the general precondition, that is an understood precondition, need not be said precondition, then the to be said and the specific precondition is that after knowing all the rituals, you go for Brahma Mimamsa. So that is why he says here, karma avabodha anantaryam viseshaha. Viseshaha means what? That is the Visishta Karan. Is a specific precondition. Swadhyaya anantaryam dusamanam nanu ihe karma vabodhanantaryam viseshaha. In answer to which the Siddhanti says, na, it's not so. It is not that you analyze your nature, you analyze to find out what is the unlimited after knowing all the rituals. That is not the precondition. Why? Because here itself I would like to convey the know-how, knowing the methodology of all the rituals plays no role in my analysis. To be a precondition means which plays a role. Precondition is which plays a role. It has a facilitator. Knowing the method of the rituals, in what way does it facilitate the analysis of Brahman? Knowing the methodology, knowing the method of rituals, how does it really, in what way does it facilitate the analysis of what is the unlimited? It has no role to play. Therefore, it cannot be called a facilitating precondition. That is why here Siddhanti says, na. Vedadhyayanam is a general precondition. But karma avabodha, knowing all the rituals, is not the precondition. Why? Dharma jignasayaha pragapi. Even before you know all about the rituals, even before you begin the Vaidika karma, even without knowing anything about Vaidika karma, dharma jignasayaha pragapi, even before knowing what all about the rituals, Adhita Vedantasya, the one who has been introduced to Vedanta, Adhita Vedantasya, Brahma Jignasa Upapattehe, he can do Brahma Mimamsa. A person who has been introduced to Vedanta, Adhita Vedantasya Purushasya, Brahma Jignasa Upapattehe. Because it is tenable that a person who has been introduced to Vedanta can take up the analysis of what the Brahman is, even though he doesn't know anything about the Karma Kanda. Without knowing anything about Karma Kanda, one can become a student of Brahma Vidya. It is not necessary that I must have been first. It is not necessary that I must first be the student of Karma Kanda and know all the rituals and then I become the student of Brahma Vidya. Without having become a student of Karma Kanda, I can become a student of Brahma Vidya if I have been introduced to Vedanta. Therefore, Adhita Vedantasya Brahma Jignasa Upapattehe, and therefore, saying that you have to know the rituals to come to Brahma Vidya doesn't hold good. Clear? This argument has been answered. Na dharma jignasayaha prak. Dharma jignasa. Dharma jignasa yaha. Dharma jignasa mala. Mala yaha. Prak. उससे पहले. Dharma jignasa से पहले. पंचमी एकवचन is what? माला का पंचमी एकवचन. मालायाहा धर्म जिज्ञासायाहा धर्म जिज्ञासा से प्राक पहले अपि also धर्म जिज्ञासा से पहले भी अधीत वेदांत मीन्स ए पर्सन हु हैज स्टडीड वेदांत उसका वेदांतस्य अधीत वेदांतस्य ए पर्सन हु हैज स्टडीड वेदांत फॉर हिम ब्रह्म जिज्ञासा का उपपत्ते है इट्स टेनेबल. It is tenable that a person who has studied Vedanta can become a student of Brahma Vidya even though he doesn't know anything about the Karma Kanda. Therefore, to say that Karma Jnanam is a precondition, Visishta precondition for Brahma Vidya is not right. And now here, thereafter this krama should be understood differently. In the rituals there is a krama. After. The thereafter, the sense of thereafter, the sense of thereafter, the sense of thereafter in the rituals is different from the sense of thereafter in Vedanta. Otherwise, so much of emphasis cannot be laid. I have already unfolded this. Like snatva bhuktva gramam gacchati is a krama. I take bath, thereafter I take my lunch, thereafter I go to the village. There are three different events. I had to do all the three, therefore I have to do one after the other. Now, snanam is not going to facilitate bhojan, eating. Because you can eat also without. You can't say you feel fresh. Isliye acha lagta hai. Don't bring in all those kitchen logic. Because there are people who enjoy lunch much better without taking bath. And if you tell a person to go and take, in the meantime, I tell you, he may lose the appetite. There are people who enjoy. Because it is possible to take lunch without bath. Therefore, bath doesn't facilitate taking lunch. Nor taking lunch facilitates going to the village. It is not a facilitator. Here there are three separate events having nothing to do with each other. I had to do all the three, therefore I can't do all the three at a time, therefore I do. This thereafter is different. This is a krama. It is not a facilitating krama. It's not a facilitating krama. Taking bath doesn't facilitate taking lunch. Taking lunch doesn't facilitate going to the village. I hope you have followed. I had to do all the three. Therefore, I can't do all the three at a time. Therefore, I do one after another. That doesn't mean doing one facilitates the other. But in the case of the precondition that we are talking about, that precondition is something which facilitates analysis of Brahma. That we have to find out. A facilitating precondition. What is that facilitating precondition after which I have to begin? Brahma Mimamsa. Now this unfacilitating, this non-facilitating krama, the non-facilitating krama, for that an example is given here. Bhashyakara says, dharma jignasa yathacha, just as hridayati. There is a particular ritual called the Agni Shomiya. Is it called a Pashuyaga? Agni Shomiya Pashuyaga. In which you offer the heart first, then the tongue first, then the chest. First is heart, then is the tongue, then is the liver. In this manner you offer. It is just three events, but all of them you can't really offer at the same time. Therefore you offer one after another, and which is first and which is later is a vidhi. The Shruti first says, all right, do the heart first, offer the heart first, then the tongue first, then the liver, chest. Now, is it a facilitating krama? It is just a vidhi. It is a vihita krama. Why this krama, I don't know. I don't know. Hridayadi. You see, Hridayam, He says, Hridayasya agre avajyati atha jihva atha vakshasaha atha jihvayaha atha vakshasaha. You see, that is, first you offer the heart. You understand, no? First you offer the heart, hridayam. Agre. Hridayasya agre. So avajyati. Avajyati means, here, offers. Hridayasya agre avajyati atha jihvayaha atha vakshasaha. Now the Veda says, you offer the heart. Don't come up, don't go into that topic, Swamiji. Hinduism में non-violence बातें हैं. Don't jump into that topic. वो अलग topic है. Then you will not be listening. Then you will be thinking. मैंने इतने साल से सोचते थे कि पशु का आहार नहीं होता है. अब तो हिंदुइज्म में ये भी है. इसके बीच में पूरा प्रकरण खत्म हो गया. बीच में कुछ नहीं सुना आपने. There is a particular ritual, something, therefore in which an animal is offered, which can be interpreted differently also, but it doesn't matter. There is a particular Agni Shomi Pashiyagame, there is a ritual in which there is a krama, where you offer the limbs. What do you offer first? Hridayam, then Jihva, then Vakshas. Now if I ask the question, why this krama? I don't know. Veda says so. It's called a vidhi. I don't know. Only Veda knows. Either I follow it as it is called totally Shraddha based. Either I follow it as it is or I don't do anything. Just get out. Okay. Now if you go by logic, offering the heart first doesn't make offering jihva easier. Supposing, offering the heart first, if it can make offering the tongue later easy, then I can understand, well, it is meant to facilitate. Offering the tongue facilitates offering the liver, and then I can see there is a connection. But I said, kuch nahi, because you can offer anything. Here Bhashyakara says, the krama that I am talking is not like that krama. The krama that I am talking, there is something after which alone you can do Brahma Mimamsa. That precondition is different from this kind of krama. Snatva gatva gramam gacchati, or hridayam jihva and vakshas, this krama, they are different from the krama that I am going to talk. It is a facilitating sequence. It's a facilitating sequence. Like Vedadhyayanam is a facilitating precondition for Dharma Mimamsa. I hope you are able to follow. Vedadhyayanam, studying the Veda, and followed by analysis, study and analysis. Are they like Snatva Bhuktva Gramam Gacchati? Is it like Snatva Bhuktva Gramam Gacchati? No, because you can do Bhuktva, you can do Bhojanam without Snatva, therefore there is no facilitating, there is no relation. You happen to do them one after another, but otherwise there is no relation. Because I can take Snanam without being followed by Bhojanam. I can take Bhojanam without being preceded by this thing. I can go to the village also. What if after Bhojanam Gramam Gachi? Is it a facilitator? Yes, after Bhojan it's time to go to sleep. Not Gramam Gachati. There are three unrelated events. But the study and analysis are not two unrelated. Study is related. Why? It facilitates analysis. In that manner, there is a precondition which is related to Brahma Mimamsa. That's why here it says, yatha cha hridayadi, hridayam, etc. Avadananam, offerings. Avadananam, avadanam means offering. Hridayadi means hridayam, etc. Hridayam, etc. means what? Hridayam, hridayadi, hridaya, etc. Adi means etc. Etc. means here jihva, vakshas, means avayavas. Hridayadi, avadananam. Avadananam means offerings. Anantarya niyamaha, and they are done in a sequence. Anantarya niyamaha means sequence. They are followed, they are offered in a given prescribed sequence. The logic of which sequence I can't understand, only Veda. That is why it is a Vihita Anantarya Niyama. It is Vihita by Veda. I don't see any relation. Why this is, what that is. So just as in Karmakanda, as in the case of Pashuyaga, a sequence is followed, one after another, in that manner. Well, here Bhagavan says, Kramasya vivakshitatvat. There the krama is, vivakshitam is very important. That krama is important. Kramasya is the vivakshitam. Krama is the topic there. Not only what you offer, but the in which sequence that you offer there is important. And that particular sequence is, in what way is it important? I do not know, only Veda knows. It says, offer heart first, then jihva, then vakshas. And there is a krama, and that is vivakshitam, that is the important thing. Kramasya vivakshitatvad. Just as there is a krama, na tatha, not so here. Not so here, na tatha. Yiha, here, kramaha vivakshitaha. It is not some kind of a krama that is intended here. It is not that kind of krama. That's why I said an unrelated sequence. An unrelated sequence, different things unrelated to one another, but then you are doing them in a sequence. That is an unrelated krama. I hope I am able to convey. Like eating, taking bath and eating and going have no intrinsic relation. Because why there is no intrinsic relation? You have to follow it. Why there is no intrinsic relation? Because you can take bath and not take food and not go to the village. It is not that really immediately after taking the bath, bhojanam takes place. Aisa to hai nahi. There is no choiceless relation, there is no connection. There is no connection between taking bath and eating food. There is no connection. Because I can take food without taking bath, I can take bath also without taking food afterwards. I can take food and not go to the village. That means what? They are unrelated. But yet you follow them in a sequence. That is called krama. 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 It is a sequence of many events having no relation. Because one can exist without the other two. It is not that kind of krama here. It is not that kind of sequence. We are talking about some precondition without which you cannot do Brahma Jignasa, with which alone you can do Brahma Jignasa, without which you can't do Brahma Mimamsa, that kind of precondition. It is a related precondition. intimately related precondition. Intimately related precondition. Tatu vaktavyam. That has to be said here. Said here. Kramasya vivakshitadvad na tathayah kramaha vivakshitaha. This is clear? Okay, that kind of krama. When unrelated sequence is not what is intended. Mimamsaka can come up with another argument. That is called Sesha Seshitva. Sesha Seshitve Adhikrita Adhikareva Pramana Abhava. Karmakanda, Dharma Jignasa, meaning Karmakanda being the essential precondition for Vedanta. That is called Sesha Seshitva. Like even Anvaya Vyatireka Nyaya is a choiceless, connected, related precondition for understanding Mahavakya. Anvaya Vyatireka Nyaya in Vedanta, observing what comes and goes and what continues in three states, what is it that appears and disappears and what is it that continues, observing the continuity of one's own existence is a very, very related precondition for understanding oneself as Brahman, Mahavakya. In that manner, Karmakanda, understanding Karmakanda is not a related precondition for understanding, for doing Brahma Mimamsa. That means there is a between Anvaya Vyatireka Nyaya and Mahavakya, there is a Sesha Seshi Bhava. Sesha Seshi Bhava in the sense, it's a part of the whole. It's an intrinsic organic part. Understanding Mahavakya implies understanding Anvaya Vyatireka Nyaya. In that manner, without Anvaya Vyatireka Nyaya, you cannot go for Mahavakya. In that manner, you can't say that without going through Karmakanda, you can't begin Brahma Mimamsa. You can't say. That means there is no Sesha Seshitva. Sesha Seshitve. Then the next is Adhikrita Adhikare. Adhikrita Adhikara means the one who is qualified for Karmakanda alone becomes qualified for the Brahma Mimamsa. This is called Adhikrita Adhikara. If you are fit for that, then you are fit for this. If you are fit for that, if you are an adhikari for Karmakanda, then you become adhikari for Brahma Mimamsa iti. This is what is called Adhikrita Adhikara Bhava. In Aisa, is Vishay may be Sesha Seshitve, that there is Sesha Seshitvam between Karmakanda and Brahma Mimamsa, that there is Adhikrita Adhikara Bhava between Karmakanda and Brahma Mimamsa is Vishay may. Va pramana abhavat. There is no pramana. There is no proof. There is no pramana. Neither nyaya nor anubhava nor shruti. Nowhere there is no proof of your statement, my dear Purvapakshi, that there is Sesha Seshi Bhava between Karmakanda and Vedanta or Adhikrita Adhikara Bhava between Karmakanda and Vedanta. In this matter there is no proof. Now there are three things negated in this Vakya. Hridayadi avadananam anantaryavat. Krama here is not there. How there is a krama among offering one limb after another, that kind of krama is not there here. Nor Sesha Seshi Bhava. There is no Sesha Seshi Bhava between Brahma Jignasa and Karmakanda. Nor there is Adhikrita Adhikara Bhava between Vedanta and Karmakanda. Therefore, you can't really, put forward the Dharma Mimamsa as the specific precondition for Brahma Jignasa, Vedadhyanam being Samanya. Vedadhyanam being Samanya, Dharma Mimamsa cannot become the Visishta Nimitta for Brahma Mimamsa. You can't do it. Because there is no Brahma. Brahma Jignasa Yatha Hridayadavadhananam Anantare Niyamaha Kramasya Vivakshitutvat Na Tatha Iha Kramaha Vivakshitaha Sesha Seshatve Adhikrita Adhikareva Pramanya Bhavat. It means that Krama means Sesha Seshi Bhav mein bhi Krama hai, Adhikrita Adhikar Bhav mein bhi Krama hai. Jab Krama nahi hai to Adhikrita Adhikar Bhav bhi nahi hai, all mean the same. Krama means Sesha Seshi Bhava. Krama also implies Adhikrita Adhikar Bhava. In Sesha Seshi Bhava, there is a Krama. Then Adhikrita Adhikar Bhav mein bhi, there is a Krama. If Krama hi nahi hai, to Krama between Karma Kanda and Vedanta, there is no Krama. There is no Krama. Therefore, what is that precondition which is intimately connected to the study of the nature of the self? What is that precondition? Not Vedadhyayana. Why? That is Samana. Not Vedadhyayana means that is Samana, that is accepted. That is Samana Nimitta. Not Dharma Jigyasa. Not Dharma Jigyasa. Not Karma Jnanam. Not Karma Jnanam. Not Karma Avabodha. Not Karma Mimamsa. Karma, anything that is related to karma is not the Visishta Nimitta for Brahma Mimamsa. And what is that Visishta Karanam? Yat Visishtam Tat Vaktavyam. That has to be said. Who is going to say it? Purvapakshi is not going to say it. Gandhi himself is going to say it. Pramana Bhavat Anada. This we will see in the next class. This is a very big topic. Dharma Jignasa is one topic, Brahma Jignasa is another topic. The topics are different, their fruits are different. Karmakanda is a different topic, Vedanta is a different topic. And the fruits also are different. That is why Vedanta is called Bhinna Prakaranam. Bhinna Prakaranam means it's a different topic. Vishayhi alag. This is going to be said. This we'll see later. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Very good. Very good. gone into Vedanta now. So, home, stay in Madras. You are here in Delhi for some time? For a week. Come. Come to the class here. Yeah, I know that, but then I can't. To follow Brahma Sutra, yeah, it's all known arguments, not difficult. One doesn't have to feel scared, as if it's something other than your Vivek. Same analysis. Mimamsa, it's a Mimamsa Shastra. A few things have to be told so that
mathematically it becomes a mutually exclusive event.
Mutually exclusive. Mutually exclusive means one can happen without the happening of the other. That is called really unrelated. They are unrelated, organically unrelated. They are not really interrelated. Supposing if it were impossible to take food without bath, then it becomes related. But if you can have your life without bath, much better. There are all inventors, all Delhi people don't take lunch after. I think they take bath after lunch. At least they take bath after breakfast. It's also bhujanam. It's not just a mute, it's not a mere sequence. A sequence of few unrelated events. Supposing the gathering of clouds and the fall of rain, they are not two unrelated events. Gathering of clouds is a necessary precondition. A necessary means choiceless precondition for the rain. That kind of choiceless precondition you have to test. That is the meaning of the word athar. Gathering of clouds and rain is not unrelated. It is a pratipatti krama, not mere kala krama. We come back to our original. One is kala krama, the other is pratipatti krama. There is a krama, but the pratipatti krama means related. Not by just start. People will say after karma ke baare mein pura. They will say sansar ko achhi tarah se pura. Having experienced the whole sansara, then you go to moksha. They will say. Pehle kaise jate? How can you take sannyasa even as a brahmachari? Because you have to take sannyasa after marriage. And you have to go through the hell in Grihastha-ashrama. Having gone through the hell, then you go through Vanaprastha-ashrama. Then afterwards, naturally, then it becomes a kala krama. If there is a real krama, if there is a relation between Grihastha-ashrama and Vanaprastha and Grihastha and sannyasa, if there is a natural sequence, choiceless sequence, then after Vanaprastha, everybody should take. It should happen. Whether you like it or not, it should happen. Sannyasa ashrama, one must take choicelessly. One can't avoid taking sannyasa after Vanaprastha ashrama. Then there is a pratipatti krama. But is it true that after Vanaprastha everybody takes sannyasa? After Grihastha ashrama, you are Grihastha, after then also a Grihastha, then also a Grihastha, till the death like this. Sannyasa doesn't happen Sannyasa is not an ashram in sequence of another ashram. Sannyasa is not an ashram in sequence of another ashram. Sannyasa is an ashram in sequence of Vairagyam, etc. That is the Visishta. Okay?